What up, pluckers? Welcome back to another episode of NIGHTTRAP Podcast. Today, we have a very special episode. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be awesome. I'm wearing these gloves for a reason. Because today's episode is Retro Future, baby. We're doing if you don't know what Retro Future is, back in the 80s, we thought we were gonna have flying cars. We were gonna be all neon. You know, everything was gonna be awesome, post-apocalyptic, which not much different now, except for like there's not a lot of neon. I guess we have TikTok or some shit. I don't know. Well, whatever. But anyways, we're gonna have a special guest, different segments, different commercials, and that's it. Maybe we'll have some non-human guests too. We'll see. But anyways, with that said, stick around. Let's go to this shit. And let's see what happens. Alright? Alright, guys, we'll be back. Don't fucking change the channel. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And speaking of color, the addition of the
video game in the sky. I can play twice as hard. Take a look, it's in the booklet of a PlayStation video game. I can't go anywhere. It's quarantine times, don't drink from my cup. You're a fucking asshole. We can't go anywhere. Susio and me are forced to do interviews through fucking Zoom. Through fucking Zoom.
Hi, do you like video games? Well, do you like video games with a lot of gore? Well, do you like video games with a lot of gore and a retro feel? Well, do you like video games with a lot of gore and a retro feel set in the late 80s? Well, do you like video games with a lot of gore and a retro feel set in the late 80s with an awesome soundtrack on vinyl? Then Hotline Miami's for you. Hi, I'm Hector G, and I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about the video game or the vinyl, so I'll do both. This game is a top-down shooter that came out in 2012 and is known for its gruesome violence and gore. Look at that fucking blood. But it also has a really cool synth-pop 80s soundtrack. It came out on only 5,000 copies on vinyl, and it includes 3 LPs. That's black, red, and yellow. What can I say about this soundtrack? I feel that they did a great job capturing the vibe of all the violence, gore, and the awesome 80s styles. If you wanted your very own copy, you had to act quick, because it sold out really fast. You can get a copy today on eBay for only $400. So if you're ever in the mood to live out your fantasy of killing dozens and dozens and dozens of people, all while listening to dope 80s jams like me, then Hotline Miami is a video game for you.
See your Chevrolet dealer now during the Chevy Hot Streak and start a hot streak of your own.
What the fuck was that shit? Reading Rainbow? Are you serious? God damn it. Well, I got another review for you because they're paying me to do this stupid shit. God damn it. Anyways, this is fucking Dirty Rat. Again, I'm Dirty Bat, so whatever. I'm a rat, they're paying me in pizza. Okay? God damn it, I just have one more recommendation for you today. And it's a little short movie that you can watch on Netflix, on YouTube, wherever, I don't care. I don't do whatever the fuck you want. And it has a game too. It has a little game for mobile, for Switch, for all you goddamn bitch for your fucking pregnancy test, and it's called Kung Fury. Kung Fury is an awesome fucking... It has my hero, David Hasselhoff. I mean, at least for the music video, but the fucking movie is great. It's like real life. You know, like, I want to be a karate master, police cop, with a triceratops buddy, but instead I have a dirty bunny as a fucking buddy. Anyways, I recommend that shit. Go play the video game too. It's free. And then it has some little microtransactions, but it's okay. It's okay. But anyways, go watch Kung Fury. Remember, do like, share, and subscribe my shit. Even though I don't even have a channel. I have a TikTok where I dance. And I puke on other rats. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, go watch Kung Fury because it fucking Laters, I'm drunk. Bet.
Idea. The VT428E with a wonderfully
A system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
Good morning, class. Cocology. The study of good taste. In fact, the taste that stands the test.
Yes.
The test where new Coke takes on Pepsi, i.e.
That's as in?
the new Coke Pop Quiz. Cocologist dismissed.
Hey ghouls, Tara Kruger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and I'm excited to be back with the Night Trap Podcast, filming another collaboration. Hey ghouls, welcome back. I'm excited to be here filming with you guys today, bringing you some 80s vibes. I've been inspired so much by everything from like the fucking 80s. Obviously you can see most of the shit behind me is all 80s. I love 80s horror, I love 80s music. It's a big inspiration for me. My inspiration for the look today is actually Linnea Quigley as Trash from Return of the Living Dead. I decided to kind of do more of like a neon glitter punk vibe of her makeup from the movie Return of the Living Dead. I saw this movie ages ago. I actually received it as a Christmas present when I was a kid. One of my uncles got me the movie, and I remember just looking at the back of the movie. I didn't know what it was about, but when I saw like all the punk kids in the movie on the back, I assumed it was like some futuristic like space movie, so I was like really interested in watching it. So I put it on and it ended up being like a totally amazing zombie movie. This has to be like one of my favorite all-time like 80s zombies horror movies ever. Just the whole like aspect of it, the corniness of the zombies. I mean, I also have Tarman tattooed on me right here, and I do plan to get the half zombie tattooed later on, the one who's like the pain of being dead is why they eat brains. It's just one of my favorite fucking movies. I've gotten to meet Linnea Quigley and Alan, the guy who plays Tarman. Because I have so much love for this movie, I decided to kind of create this look that I originally thought was some futuristic like sci-fi movie, ended up being just a badass zombie movie. I was also inspired by a lot of others like 80s icons, obviously like Boy George, Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, and of course like Elvira Devine, although she's from the 70s, she did make her way to the 80s. There's always been some big inspirations of mine, and of course everything in the 80s was just so much better. The movies, the music, the style, everything about it just excites me so much, and why I always like my drag aesthetic to be somewhat of like an 80s monster. Since obviously like my name's Tara Kruger, I was also inspired by a lot of like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, especially Dream Warriors, the punk chick Terry who ends up getting killed with the OD of heroin. Just like as a kid watching her be badass fight Freddy with those knives and like her cute little mohawk and shit, I was also very inspired by that. I feel like a lot of the punk aesthetic from like the 80s especially kind of was like very futuristic. I remember as a kid watching like fucking Ninja Turtles, any fucking horror movie, especially like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street were like my main favorite ones to watch. I always saw like the punk people in the movies and just thought they looked very futuristic, and if I was around in the 80s I would have definitely like been into that style. I mean, I am now as like an alternative weird little kid who kind of made my drag aesthetic a more exaggerated version of myself, and I have to say, if it wasn't for like my fucking like inspiration from all those 80s movies I watched as a kid growing up, because I had younger parents, so they were really cool back then because they hated children movies as much as I hate children movies. So I always just watched what they watched, which included nothing but like horror movies and action films. So I kind of just grew up on that, and that's just where I've been so inspired to like create my drag persona and just follow my hopeful career path of becoming like a FX makeup artist. Also, when it comes to my drag, I've been very inspired just by very many women from the 80s, whether it was like movies or music. Most of it was movies for me. Like I was always into like a ton of fucking films, like especially horror films. So I always think back to like Trash from Return of the Living Dead, Terry from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Debbie from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. Just their style, their aesthetic of everything they wore, their makeup, just all that fun shit. There's so many more, especially like obviously like Elvira. Like those are always just big inspirations on me growing up. I just love the whole like gothy bimbo-ness to it all, because I always like to describe myself as Satan's baby girl. I don't know, I love the whole goth aesthetic, but I also kind of love like a whole Jane Mansfield type vibe. So if you were to mix like James Mansfield and Elvira, which pretty much what Elvira kind of is, that's just more of the lines of like what has inspired me like my whole life growing up. And to think of like something futuristic in the 80s, as I've asked people who actually got to experience the 80s, all they said was like, I was too busy like getting high, partying, and having fun. I didn't really think about the future. And that to me just says how much more fun the 80s were than the world we're in today. Obviously, like we're in a very like dark time right now, but in the 80s everything just seemed much cooler. I'm not sure what was going on that was big in the 80s. I wasn't there, unfortunately. I also feel like androgyny was really, really big in the 80s. Like I said, Boy George and Pete Burns are some of my biggest inspirations. And it just rolled on over to the 90s, which is also inspired by like Marilyn Manson, Twiggy Ramirez, and other people like that along the lines. I just love the whole aesthetic of just like, you know, who gives a fuck what you wear? If it's fucking glamorous, I'm gonna wear it. I don't give a shit if I'm a boy, if I'm dressed like a girl. It don't fucking matter. You know, fashion is fashion, and wear whatever the fuck I want. Especially now, like before Pete Burns passed away, I just love the whole aesthetic of him. Like he still had his deep voice, he dressed like a full woman. People thought he was transgender, and when they would ask him, he was like, no, I just love fashion. And he's like, why would I wear something like a boring suit when I could wear a fabulous gown or something? Which is, hello, I would too. I'd rather wear a fucking fabulous gown than a fucking suit, and you know, accessorize with big bows, spikes, crazy makeup, and whatever. But I feel like I've been rambling on so long, and I'm probably totally off subject. But anyways, if you want to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Tara Kruger, search it. That's what I go by under everything. But until the next time, stay spooky, and I'll see you ghouls later.
To 8, room no new size van can be.
1,000 Sunbird Turbo, only from Pontiac.
Yo, what up, mother pluckers? Welcome to another episode of the NIGHTTRAP Podcast, where today it's 20XX. Everything has gone neon. The world is shit, and we can't talk without mask-ons anymore. So I'm wearing my mask. But with that said, let's get into the episode, which, I mean, this is my segment, I guess, for the retro future, and I'm gonna talk video games. I know that Hector G did his piece, but this is gonna be cool too. Check out Hector G. Anyways, so, wanna go fast. If you know any games that are like retro future, kind of like Cyberpunk, that was our thing that we were gonna do, but I guess we had to move on from that because of, you know, issues. But anyways, you know, there used to be other games like Shadowrun, like Tron Runner, like Ruiner, like Neon Chrome, all these, you know what, I'm gonna take this shit off. All these cool fucking games where it was like the future, the retro future, the neon future, that fucking post-apocalyptic shit. But there's one that stands out that not a lot of people played. I mean, maybe they did back in, I don't remember, 2014, I think. It was fucking badass. And it was a spin-off from Far Cry 3. I don't know if you guys remember Far Cry 3. But they did a fucking spin-off called Far Cry Blood Dragon. And it stars Max Power Colt. And it's a fucking badass game. It's basically Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk was happening. You know, there's robots, there's stealth kills, you kill with ninja stars, you're a bionic fucking soldier. It's fucking cheesy as hell. It has a lot of 80s quotes. It has a lot of 16-bit cutscenes.
Power. And he's got the Robo Balls.
That's a Rex code guarantee.
To destroy evil. He's more hero than any man on earth.
I know hero. Firemen, policemen, janitors. Those are the real heroes.
He is Sergeant Rex. Power.
There's fucking blood dragons that shoot lasers out of their fucking mouth. And it's a badass game. You get dropped in an island. You have to stop this like bad guy, like that fucking Cobra Commander or whatever. And you just have to go stealth killing, avoiding the dragons, maybe even using the dragons to you know, ravage these robot people. You have a fucking AI that's telling you what to do. He doesn't always take. There's a lot of jokes in this game.
Let's show them how cyber commandos get it done.
Fuck force style, motherfucker!
And it's a fucking badass game. You should fucking, you know, go play it because it's on. You can still buy it, and you don't have to buy Far Cry 3. You can buy Blood Dragon by itself, and they have it for Xbox. It's backwards compatible, so go fucking play that game. It's fucking an amazing game. If you like 80s stuff, if you like cyberpunk stuff, if you like this whole, you know, talking with this shit, it's fucking badass. It's a badass. The music is fucking amazing. It's retro as hell. You guys just need to go fucking play that game. Can't say enough about it. The soundtrack, chef's fucking kiss. The gameplay, chef's fucking kiss. Chef's fucking kiss. Oh, hashtag chef's fucking kiss. There you go. But anyways, remember, thank you guys for joining me. We're gonna move on to the next segment, which I hope is fucking badass. But for now, we will see you on the next one. Oh, by the way, this game, 9 out of 10. 9 out of fucking 10. Or the other way. Well, whichever. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Remember, stay in the future. Don't live in the past. Which is completely going against this episode. Thank you guys. Later, bitches. Bah!
How do I know, Fred? I don't know. Let me think. It's not a bad question, Bert. In that movie, they destroyed the brain to kill him. Is that what they...
What up, baby? It's your main man Sucio, aka Cerberus, aka Thought Boy Supreme, aka Lesbian Wolverine, aka Kobika-chan, aka ex-boyfriend of everybody's mom. Welcoming you to a very special retro future Cinematheque. Welcome to the future, Bionicles. Is it everything you thought it would be? You know, maybe the timeline of integrated tech and flying cars has come and gone, but are those visions of the future really that far off? Well, in this special edition of Cinematheque, your main man is going to talk about 2 selections of what I think might come to be or what still might happen. But before we get into any of that, we just have to talk about the subject matter in general crosses many mediums and many genres. And to give it its full respect, it would mean to have to dedicate full episodes to things like H.G. Wells and Metropolis and Ray Bradbury respectively, but we ain't got time for that. What I can talk about is its Silver Age 1970s predecessor, graphic magazine AD 2000. Now, when you come to think of retro future, there's 2 versions of things: this prosperous future or this thing made of future shock where everything has gone out of order. Now, AD 2000 really does represent that, because in those pages were the first times we saw things like sprawling megapolis cities, globalized, streamlined, huge skyscrapers built in the ruins of an outdated society. You know, technology so advanced that the people who created it, the human beings that created it, can't even keep up with it. Now, I'm not here to talk about what you think I'm here to talk about. What I do want to say is that because of AD 2000, so many creators cite it as the breakthrough for the aesthetic, for the medium, so much so that it was chosen as the general guideline to what we now know as Blade Runner. Now, I'm not going to talk about Blade Runner because it's been talked to about to death. Now, but you got to give love to an OG sci-fi true real head, and AD 2000 is with it, so make sure you go check out those omnibus. But the very specific version of the future that I want to talk about is about a human consciousness pushed to such an extreme limit by unchecked science that it created a masterpiece that we know as 1988's Akira. After a transcendental awakening, you know, that nearly destroyed Tokyo, you know, what's left for humanity is to rebuild a city that's full of corrupt politicians and a populace that's seeking salvation from what is to come. Now, does that sound like anything? Does that sound like something that you've heard of? As I know, it sounds like something I know what's happening. But Akira is to be considered the watershed moment of anime as a whole, as an art form in general. You know, originally published in Young Magazine, which is also known for groundbreaking titles like Berserk. You know, Akira's direct influences are from gigantic, beautiful cityscapes that were seen in the pages of Gigantor, also known as Teshuzin 28. Now, Gigantor is such an inspiration for Akira that even the main characters are named directly after the code names of characters in Gigantor. I mean, Tetsuo is named directly after our giant robot friend. But whatever. More so, creator Katsumuro Otomo used the hulking steel framework cities of Gigantor as the basis for Neo Tokyo. Now, although Akira started off as a much more traditional manga tale, it quickly expanded to a very much deeper human question. And with that came much starker, bleak scenarios and environments that were created to support that. Now, underneath all those glamorous lies was the truth about Akira's awakening. And in the 2,000-page manga was so powerful and beautiful that it had to be copied almost page for page, panel for panel, storyboarded to make the theatrical film. That's how amazing that was. But if you really want to start getting into retro future, getting into everything that it represents, you have to start with the monumental film known as Akira. Not just because it's a masterpiece, but because it pushed the standard for the art form in general from where it got its inspirations from. Now, who else deserves to be on the pantheon of Sucio Cinematheque when it comes to the legendary Akira? Because there's only one name that I can think about. And you have to follow the specs of predicting the future while at the same time updating a character, while at the same time updating an entire mythology. And the one name that I can think about Batman Beyond. Now, what was supposed to be a blatant cash grab of merchandising about a Batman in high school like concept series quickly became one of the greatest creative decisions that DC's animated universe came to make. Now, in the year 2039, 20 years, Gotham has had no Batman whatsoever. You know, you got these historical districts that are rotting under the weight of these giant industrial technological megapolis that grew out of Crime Alley. You know, everyday androids, gene spliced body modifications, you know, and so many Batman end stories that the series forced producer Bruce Timm and the DC creatives to stop work on the adventures of Batman and Robin. And what ended up happening is that we got such a haunting and polluted version of Gotham that there was nothing but glass and living wires that seemed like a prison for all these denizens cursed by science technology itself. Like, you know, not only did the Batsuit get upgraded, but the Rogues Gallery got updated, and when they came to make Justice League, the series Justice League, they actually took an aesthetic choice and said, this series, Batman Beyond, is what we are going to be. So our cities have to reflect that. So Gotham, Metropolis, Star City, and Coast City all ended up looking like versions of New Gotham or Gotham in 2039. But, you know, without Batman Beyond, we would not have the greatest animated universe right now, which is DC, which has done so many amazing things, and you can thank that to Batman Beyond. Now, this series was so inspirational that they had to use the Return of the Joker plotline and adopted it as canon for the Rocksteady Arkham series and the Red Hood's origins. Now, I'm only running out of time. I don't really want to say anything else. Batman Beyond available on, you know, on WB. Akira is available on 1,000 different things. You have to watch these two. If you're gonna get into Retro Future, you have to watch these two. But I want to leave with a little bit of a question. If Akira wasn't that far off from military insurrections and predicting singularities, how far off are we from the future of Batman Beyond? You know, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Stay sweet, don't change. Love, Sucio.
Oh shit. Oh, hi there. Just playing some F-Zero. Enjoying that retro futuristic feel. You get my drift? Yeah, there's no pun there. Anyways, did you guys like the episode? What did you guys think of Hector G? What did you guys think of Terra Kruger? What did you guys think of Sucio? Come on! I want to hear it! No? Okay, guess not. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, hit us up at NIGHTTRAP Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, of course YouTube. You know, subscribe. Plus, press that little bell. Little bell. Come on, press it. Get some notifications every Thursday, 10 a.m. New shows. Let's do it. Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Give us some feedback. What do you want the next variety show to be about? You know, we have February coming up. Maybe some romantic stuff. Who knows? Anyways, thank you guys. We will see you next time. Thank you, Sucio. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, fucking whatever that bat's name is. Thank you, Terra Kruger. Thank you to everybody. Alright? Well, see you next time. Later, bitches. Bye.
Just let me kill people, damn it.